Okay, good morning, Year 5. So, yesterday we started looking at shape. We looked at regular and irregular polygons or regular irregular shapes yesterday. Okay, so that was mainly focused on 2D shapes. Today we're going to have a look at 3D shapes. Try and remember how we can describe those different shapes. Okay, so 3D shapes. What vocabulary do we use to describe them? You could just note some ideas down here. What vocabulary do we need to use to describe them? And how many 3D shapes can you think of? What names of the shapes can you think of? Okay, I'm going to be looking at how well you remember the names of the 3D shapes today. Okay, I'm not going to give you too many clues. If you're unsure, you're going to have to go away and have a little look on, do a bit of research and find those today. So let's think about vocabulary. Okay, we use three main terms to describe 3D shapes. The first is faces. Okay, so the faces of the shape are a flat or curved surface on a 3D shape. Okay, so here, this is a face. Okay, this is one face here. We can see the start of another face here, and we can see a third here. We also know that there'll be a fourth one behind here, a fifth one behind there, and a sixth one on the bottom. So that this cube has six faces. So the faces are the flat or smooth sides, okay, to this shape. Okay, so they are there, and that's really important. Okay, faces will always be used when describing a 3D shape. So they're the flat, curved surfaces of the shape. Now, the next thing that we use is really important, okay, are edges. So in 2D shapes, we might say sides. On 3D shape, we have to use the terminology edges, okay? And an edge is where we get two faces that meet, okay? So we get two faces that meet, that create this edge along here, okay? So one face goes into another, so there is an edge, okay, there is an edge, there is an edge, there is an edge. Then we've got edges down here, haven't we, where these faces meet, these faces on the side. So one there, one there, one there, okay. We know there's going to be another one behind there, okay. So another one that goes down there, don't we, okay. We know that's going to be there. And then we know we've got four more on the bottom, one here, one there, and two that we can't see. So the edges, okay, where two faces meet. And these definitions will be really important. Part of your work today is creating these definitions or writing out these definitions. So where two faces meet, okay? And the final thing that we need to use is vertices, okay, or vertex. If we're talking about one, okay, it's a vertex. If we're talking about more than one, so the plural, okay, we're talking about vertices. And that is where edges meet, okay? And that can be any number of edges that are meeting, okay? So here we've got three edges that meet, haven't we? One there, and one there. And they all meet here, okay? So they are the corners where the edges meet, okay? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we can see 5, 6, 7, and we know there's going to be one back in there, don't we? Okay, 8. So vertices where the edges meet, okay, and they create that spiky corner, okay. Some shapes might not have any, okay, so Severe's got no vertices at all. Now, the first thing I want you to look at today is I want you to look at these 3D shapes, okay, so there are 8 3D shapes and they're on the worksheet, okay, which you can either do or you can pause it on here, draw them out, write these things out. So I want to know the name of the shape, okay, so this one here, okay, is a cube, so we can do this one together. Okay, a cube. We've just looked at the cube, haven't we? And we worked out that it had 6 faces. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they're those flat surfaces. Edges, okay, we had 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom, and 4 around the sides where those faces meet. Okay, so we've got 12 edges and vertices. We had 4 on the top and 4 on the bottom, didn't we, where those edges meet? So 8 of those. It's really important, okay, that you go through these shapes. If you're unsure about some of these shapes, have a little look, okay, do a bit of research, see if you can find out some of those shapes. And if you're struggling and you need to have a check, okay, then under here is some of these. So if you need to have a little look, flick back and have a look at the video as you're doing them, okay, and they are the shape names, okay, that you need to match to those. If you can do it without, that's great. Now the second part of the activity today looks at nets. What is a net? You'll have seen them before, you'll have probably used them before, built them before, okay. So a net is when we unfold a 3D shape and we open it out flat, okay, so we can then fold it back together and we can build a 3D shape. So there is a video on nets, okay, and on this bite-sized page there is a quiz and a couple of activities just to remind you what nets are, what they look like, how they're built and made, and that link is in the activity as well this morning as the link to this video, okay, so you can go to that page and have a little look, and there are a few questions for you to answer about the nets of 3D shapes. The first one, okay, looks at the nets of these shapes and asks you to describe the 2D shapes that make them up, and then what 3D shape you think it would make. So this I would describe as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I might say that 6 squares here. Okay, there are 6 squares that create the net. Okay, now I think when that's folded up, okay, that's going to create a cube, because I know a cube has got 6 square-shaped faces. Okay, so I think this is going to be a cube. Okay, so label the 2D shapes that you can see and what shape, the 3D shape, you think they will create when they're folded together as a net. And then a matching activity here to have a go, match the net to the shape that it creates here. And an extension as well, okay, thinking about if we folded these up, where would the opposite faces be? So if you built those, which of the faces would be directly opposite each other? So worksheets on there, okay, have a little look at those 2D, 3 and 3D shapes today, the 3D shapes of the nets, okay, and I look forward to seeing that on Class Dojo.